Hi everybody, Richard again here from Electric Classic Cars, and on today's episode we're going to have an electric versus diesel off-road challenge. So what have we brought to have some fun in? Well, first of all we've got the Spectre Land Rover. That's a Tesla powered Land Rover. So we've got electric Land Rover here, we've got a diesel Land Rover there, and that's another engine swap Land Rover because that's got a BMW 3 litre M57 engine in. And then my Land Rover, which again is Tesla powered, electric. And on the far side over there is Paul's Isuzu Trooper, which is also diesel 3 litre. So let's get into it. Right, now before we get going, I want to do something a little bit interesting today, and that's compare the fuel gauges. So what we're going to do is take a reading on the two best comparative vehicles, which are the two Defender 90s. I want a before and after on the fuel gauges. So I'm just going to have a look at Howell's gauge here now. All right, so that's just over 3/4, and on mine, pretty much the same actually, about 78%. So we're both starting around about the same on the fuel gauges. So let's see what it's like at the end of today's fun. So one of the reasons why I've organised this trip today is obviously for all you lovely viewers out there, but also the customer has sent this back to us. We built it like 2 years ago. He wants us to put off-road mode in it, which wasn't available at the time we did the conversion. So he wants an off-road mode like I've got in my Land Rover. So I want to test it today, which is the main reason why I'm doing this. And then of course Tim said, oh, let's film it. And then Tyson said, oh, I'll come in your Land Rover. And then a couple of other lads said, we'll come with you. So it's turned into a bit of an adventure and a mission. But that's the main reason. I want to test out how the off-road mode is in this, because I can't copy over completely the map from mine because it's quite a light Defender and this is very heavy. So what I've done, I've copied it over and I've done some tweaks to it. But so far, it's spot on. So one thing we get asked a lot is, can an electric car wade across a river? And we've got quite a deep pool in front of us here now. In fact, watching Howell go through in the Land Rover, it was up to the rear lights. And the answer to that question is yes, as long as you seal everything correctly. Because don't forget, as we drive through it, don't forget, there's lots of submarines out there, isn't there, Tim? As well, you know.
That's right. They're all electric.
And they're powered by electricity. So if you can drive underwater in electric, you can sure as hell go through a deep puddle in electric, as long as everything is sealed. So just to explain, the latest iteration, if you like, of the control system has two modes. So we've got on-road mode and off-road mode. And on the off-road mode that we're setting up today and testing on this, what it does is it puts the regen levels way up. So you can use it kind of as hill descent mode. It just completely manages your descent, if you like, off the regenerative braking of the motor. And the other thing which we also do is we soften up the throttle delivery. So you can't throw the throttle and do 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, which is what this does in on-road mode. So in off-road mode, it just slowly but very surely delivers that power gently, so you get out of where you need to be. Right, we survived that.
Yep.
I like this lane, it's good, isn't it?
It's good fun. It's nice and smooth.
It's nice and smooth, yeah, whatever. So that was downhill, but you've done it uphill as well, and it's a bit more tricky going uphill, yeah?
Gently crawl back up, trying to avoid the biggest holes. Just take it as it comes.
As far as electric versus diesel is concerned at the moment, I mean, no dramas.
They've done everything. They've done really well.
I mean, electric is just as good off-road as diesel. I mean, I haven't driven a diesel one for a while, but you know, I saw one stall, you know, but you don't have that with electric, obviously, because there's no clutch control. So I suppose that's one benefit. The only casualty so far has been on my green Defender, because the spring slightly came out, because there's some massive articulations going on.
It's not really designed to be going up here, but it did really
well. It's standard suspension. I haven't done anything to this. And what happened was, on complete maximum articulation on the rear axle, the top of the spring kind of like half came out. So we just kind of rocked it back, put it back in, a couple of cable ties later, job done. So the only lesson, I suppose, is I need some, what do they call the cones, isn't it?
Yes, dislocation cones on the springs, and that is literally all it needs, really.
There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go. If nothing else was learnt this weekend, is the fact that I need dislocation cones on the back of my Land Rover. So on that note, I think we'll see if we can get back up this massive, huge wall that's in front of us that Tim's sitting on, and we'll go back up the hill. Howell,
Yep.
you've never driven an electric Land Rover, have you?
I have not, no.
Fancy it?
Give it a go.
Go on then.
We are away. That is really, really weird.
So how does that feel?
I'm coasting. I'm used to a lot of noise. It's just so easy. It shouldn't be doing this.
What do you think about the lack of noise?
It's just really strange. You can hear everything under the vehicle happening.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
I can never get over as well how easy an electric Land Rover is to drive off-road, especially when you're doing an incline like this now, because the throttle, it just has a very linear feel to it as far as the power delivery is concerned. Whereas a diesel or a petrol, you've got to kind of like, know where your power is coming in and out. And with this, no matter what speed, what revs or whatever you're doing, even at crawl speeds like this, the power delivery is exactly the same. Right, I suppose now is as good a time as any to tell you a little bit about this cute little toy that we've got here, the Specter Defender. So what is it? I mean, first of all, the Specter Defender. Why is it called the Specter Defender? Well, James Bond 007 Spectre. Have a look at that film and you'll see basically this, with a silly rope that comes around here, which is the first thing we actually said no to. But that's why it's called the Spectre Defender. It's an exact recreation of that Land Rover. And what we've also done is we've raised the suspension. So the suspension's had I think it's something like a 2-inch lift, which is a complete kit with the hockey sticks and everything that kind of like get all the suspension back to the right angles. The winch as well, which has been used a few times today. Leather interior, Tesla drive unit mid-mount, as all of our Land Rover conversions are, 100 kilowatt-hour battery pack. But, and limited slip diffs in the rear axle, the front axle, and in the middle, ATB Quaife ones, so they've really earned their keep today. But that's essentially what this Spectre Defender is all about. It's pretty insane. 0-60 in 4.5 seconds and very, very capable off-road. Right, Howell,
Yeah.
what's your answer to that, mate? Is this your first electric car experience?
First electric car, yeah, I've never
So
driven
first
anything
electric
like that.
car, first electric Land Rover.
Yeah, very different. Very, very different to not what I was expecting.
In a good way or a bad way?
good, yeah.
Yeah.
Really, just so silent and sort of effortless, really. Being able to edge up rock
Oh yeah,
steps, obviously like driving automatic.
that's what I love about it. The electric delivery of power
Yeah.
is just like a flat line.
Yeah, you can gauge where you are and ride the throttle almost to just pop up over the steps. Controllable down hills, just really quiet.
Simple,
It's just really silent. Yeah, it's just lovely.
Child's play to drive.
Yeah, easy.
Did you feel it's more spacious inside as well?
Oh, there's more room because you don't have all the Land Rover stuff in the
Transmission
middle.
tunnel gone.
Levers, everything like that is gone. No
Yeah.
clutch pedal. Simple, loads of room. I'm not very Land Rover friendly height-wise. Yeah, really easy
Cool.
to use.
We'll put you down for an order then, mate.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Job done.
Yes, yeah.
We've
I can count the
converted not
pennies.
only cars, but we also convert people.
Yeah.
There we go. So we started at like 10 o'clock in the morning, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
So 10 o'clock start in the morning in the car park, and it's getting dark now, as you can probably see. Been out all day, and we've got to get back because we have families to go to, and more importantly, parties to go to tonight
that's
as well. So it's pub o'clock, but I want to check fuel gauges before I forget. So I started with 78%, was it?
Yeah.
78%, and we've had a good day's fun. And I would say I'm on 77%. So
We haven't done a huge amount of distance, have we?
Distance-
We've been driving around all day, but
I mean, it's been around this mountain and maybe 2 mountains worth. So distance-wise, not huge. But I looked in Howells before, and he started on 3/4, was it?
Yeah.
And he's on just over half now.
Yeah. So he's used about 1/4 of a tank of fuel.
1/4 of a tank.
Yeah.
So 1/4 of a tank for Howell with the diesel, and I've used 1%. And you're probably thinking, why? Well, you know, obviously Howell's got a big, huge diesel in that with that BMW. But you've got to also bear in mind that when you go slow in an electric car, you're using very little amps. And when you drive at speed, especially with the Defender, you've got aerodynamics and everything against you. So, you know, if I did that same distance at 50 miles an hour, yes, the needle will go down. But at walking pace or, you know, jogging pace, let's say, you hardly use any amps. And the other thing is, when you stop, you stop. You don't use any amps. Whereas that's still ticking over, you know, drinking fuel. So definitely a win for the electrics as far as like the energy that we've used today is concerned. So there we go. And as far as like the performance today, I mean, I would say they're about equal. I mean, I prefer electric nowadays for the controllability of driving off-road. And I think Howell's also experienced that today. And the simplicity of driving it, especially in some extreme, you know, circumstances where you're going up, you know, rock crawls and things like that. It's just kind of crawls up really slowly, whereas, you know, an engine can stall in that respect because you've got to keep the RPM going. So I would give it a slight win. Not that I'm biased, a slight win for the electric off-roading today. But overall, definitely as capable electric as diesel, that's for sure. So there we go. Any questions as far as you off-roaders are concerned today, apart from where is this fantastic road? It's called Bastard Lane, so, you know, look it up, but we can probably give some grid references. But any questions for all you off-roaders out there that are curious, that, you know, come from the diesel world and wondering about electric that I've missed today? So put the comments below, questions below, and we'll try our best to answer it. And on that note, it's time to get home, wash the vehicles, and go to a party. See you on the next video.